Hello, I am so glad that you can join me today. If it's your first time joining us today, my name is Brian Otieno. I am glad you're here. And on today's topic, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about purchase order financing. We're going to talk about the benefits, minimum criteria to qualify, terms, restrictions on the use of funds, who can use purchase order financing. Basically, by the end of this video, I promise you, you're going to know everything and all you need to know about purchase order financing. So let's go ahead and get started. So, on the first thing I want to talk about, what is purchase order financing? I'm pretty sure you've heard of it before, and if you haven't, you need to know about this type of financing, especially if you're in your business. Purchase order financing is a type of financing that you can use. You can utilize a purchase order that you receive to get funded to help you satisfy that purchase order. So, let me clear that up a little, make that make sense in the real world. So let's just say, for example, you're a candle maker, or you make candles. Or let's just say you make t-shirts or whatever tangible product that you make. Okay, and again, we're going to talk a little bit more about this on the restriction side, but purchase order generally can only be used for tangible products. Service-based businesses cannot be used for purchase orders. So anyway, let's just say you make candles or you make t-shirts or whatever it is that you make, and you receive a large order. Let's just say you went to Oprah and now everybody loves your candles, or you blew up on Instagram, you went viral because of a video or whatever the case might be, and you're receiving tons and tons of orders. Let's just say Walmart, for example, orders 1 million of your candles or 1 million of your t-shirts. Now you're a small business and you're not able to satisfy such a large order. What you can do is you can take that purchase order from Walmart, that piece of paper that you receive from Walmart stating that they want 1 million parts of your item, and you can take that to a purchase order company and say, hey, I need some assistance to satisfy this order. Can you help me finance this order? Because of course, you're gonna need material, you need labor and everything in order to satisfy that order. And if you don't have the funds to do that, that's how you can utilize that purchase order. So you can go to a finance company and they can give you a percentage all the way up to 95%. Okay, so if they order, let's just say $100,000, you can get up to $95,000 advanced to you, so you can utilize those funds to satisfy that purchase order. Okay, so that's what it is. And why would even a company want to utilize purchase order financing? Now, the reason why is there's a lot of restrictions, a lot of guidelines on qualifying from other types of financing. In a purchase order, there's number one, there's no minimum credit score requirement. So you don't have to have a great credit score. You can have 580, 500s, collections, late payments. It does not really matter at all what your credit score is. Matter of fact, they actually look at the company that made the order's credit score, how they manage their debt, how well they quickly pay their debts. That's who really matters, because that's where the money's coming from. So number one of the biggest benefits and why would somebody use purchase order financing is there's no minimum credit score requirement. There's no revenue requirements. The company is not going to be looking at your income, no revenue. There's no time in business requirement. So, if you're newly in business, or if you've only been in business for 6 months, a year or so, they don't really necessarily care so much about what this are. Again, much of the underwriting and much of the what they're going to be criticizing and pretty much putting a lot of heavy underwriting on is the company that make the purchase order. They want to make sure it's a credible company. They will look at that company's business credit, how well they pay their debts, in order to determine if you actually qualify. So you want to make sure whoever company that actually makes the order is an actually credible company. So let's quickly go over how it works, how the process goes, and how quickly you can get funded. So it's real simple. As I just explained, what you would do is you would find a good purchase order company. And if any one of you, if you're watching this video and if you're interested in purchase order financing, or if you're in a situation that what I'm explaining on purchase order financing might be something ideal for you, there's going to be a link in the description that you can click, that you can get in touch with us, and we can help you. We work with thousands of lenders all across the company that do this specific type of lending. So click the link in the description, or visit pcgcreditfunding.com. On there, you can click out a form and we can be able to get in touch with you and help you get funded. So how does it work? It's real simple. We'll submit complete a simple one-page application. We'll submit your purchase order with that application to that lending partner, and they usually take about 5 to 7 days to underwrite these files. And again, a lot of the underwriting, the underwriter will focus on that company that actually made the order, how credible they are. Now, as far as terms, you can get a purchase order, 6 months, they can go up to 5 years. It literally depends on the amount, and it depends on the lender, it depends on the industry. There's a lot of factors that go into it. Now, generally the rates of purchase order financing between 1 to 4%, okay? So it just depends on the amount, the industry, the risk factors that the lender finds in order to determine kind of the rates and what you're going to be able to pay back. But again, as I mentioned earlier, they will be able to finance up to 95% of the order that you're able to finance with them. Now, real quick, let's quickly cover some of the restrictions of purchase order financing, because unlike, a loan or a line of credit where there's no restriction of the use of funds, there are some restrictions with purchase order financing. Number one, as I mentioned earlier, it cannot be used for service-based industries, okay? Because it's basically focused on delivering a tangible product, something that can be touched. Service-based industries, they kind of belong on the factoring side. That's another video that I'm going to be making explaining factoring. Very similar to purchase order financing, but not the same. So one of the biggest restrictions is service-based industries cannot use purchase order financing. It has to be an actual product that you're selling in order for you to use purchase order financing. In addition to that, there are restrictions of the use of funds. You cannot use the funds to pay rent or to pay something else that is not associated with the purchase order. You can't just take the money and go buy a new car or go pay some other things. You have to use the money for what the intended purpose is for. And if you're getting the money in order to produce a certain specific number of products that Walmart or whatever vendor is ordering, you have to use the money for that specific purpose. So I just want to kind of cover that. So anyway, hopefully by now you have a much better grasp of what purchase order financing is, what it is, who can qualify for it, what can the funds be used for, and some of the terms and conditions of purchase order financing. And again, if you need assistance with purchase order financing, if you're in a position where you need assistance with purchase order financing, definitely get in touch with us. It's a very unique way of you actually a business that can quickly expand and grow much faster than they usually will be able to. Because again, you're in a position where you don't have to have time in business. There is no income restrictions here where you have to have 6 months of bank statements and a certain amount of income in order to qualify for purchase orders. There is no credit score requirement. As far as your business is not a type of credit score that you have to have personally or the business. So it's really a perfect way for even startup businesses to really quickly start and grow their business and actually expand their business. If you've been in business for some time and you need a good way to accelerate your business growth, a purchase order financing and a purchase order lender is a great lender for you to partner up with to make sure you can make this happen. Again, if you want to get in touch with us, I will have the links provided in the description below. And for a limited time only, I'm still giving out a free copy of my book, 3 Paths to Lending, where I cover all the different ways how you can get funded. We basically simplify the lending process. There's going to be a link in the description how you can get a free copy of that book. I go very much in depth. I talk about all the different options. Of course, there's a section on there that I talk about purchase order financing. I go much more in detail in the book. You do want to get your free copy. Make sure you look at the link in the description. 3pathsoflending.com is another way you can order your book. Again, I do appreciate you for joining us today. Do subscribe to the channel if you like this content. Or if you have any ideas or some topics that you want us to cover in the future, definitely do leave a comment below. As always, I appreciate your time, and I'll see you in the next video.